I experienced that for 3 days in a row, and I was like, if I had that my whole life, I'd live another 10 years. It's one of the few businesses where you can get fired for doing really well. When you hit $2 million in sales with a brand, they start looking at the commissions they pay, and off you go.
Today's guest built one of the most respected luxury bath showrooms in the country, starting by cleaning out plumbers' trucks. Jim Schroeder of Montaggio joins us, and this conversation goes places you will not expect. Hi, Jim. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I was checking out your website earlier today, and it looks like you have a beautiful store there. Why don't you start off with just telling us a little bit about your background and how you ended up in the dealer business with a high-end luxury showroom?
Yeah. As a kid in high school, I worked for a neighbor who had a plumbing business, service business. They would do remodels, they would do maintenance, they did commercial and residential. They ran about 25 trucks at the time. It was a third generation owner, and I started out in his warehouse doing, cleaning out plumbers' trucks and helping
And
plumbers on
where was that?
jobs. This was in
Where
Evanston,
was that?
Illinois, which is Evanston,
Okay.
Illinois, a suburb of Chicago. And so I
Yeah,
did a lot
great.
of grunt work during summer months. And when I went to college, I would come back, and he had a showroom, and I started noticing brands coming in from Europe, and I filled the showroom with brands like Bach,
Yeah.
Dornbracht, Jado, which is a name of the past. Did very well. Was very
Okay.
successful. I wanted to be more involved in his business. He saw a lot of potential in me. I went to college. I got a degree in philosophy and English literature. Uh,
All right.
and then at Denison University in Granville, Ohio. And I noticed that these Europeans were coming in, brought them into the showroom. They were doing really well. I wanted to be a part of his company, and he couldn't do it because he had a partner at the time. So I said, well, yeah, I'm going to start a rep business. And so I
Okay.
acquired 2 lines from another rep. And for 35 years, the company was called Hot, the number 2, Cold, Hot to Cold. And we eventually grew to about 8 people. In 2009, we still kept our people. We dropped sales by 50%. And part of being a rep is you have a 30-day contract with any manufacturer, and things
Yeah.
happen. New owners come in, they want to use their sales team, they fire you.
Yeah.
Eventually, most of them hire you back later, but it's a very risky business to be in. And after 35 years of naming the cracks on the highway between Minnesota and Chicago, um,
Yeah.
I bought out my wife's business partner. My wife started the business 24 years ago, Montaggio,
Okay.
and she had a silent partner. I was her rep for most of her lines. And I saw the potential in this business because it was a different business model. It was, the word supply was not in it. Every other customer I had, they had the word supply. So I transitioned to the showroom. Uh, it'll be 10 years ago in July,
Great.
and became part owner of this business along with my wife. And I sold my old Honda with 450,000 miles on it. And now I'm not traveling as much. There's travel, it gets hard after a while.
Oh, absolutely it does. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's the life of the sales rep, right? I hear you. I mean, I haven't been on that side of it. I'm obviously I'm on the manufacturer side, but I would say that we try to be very cognizant of that fact. We have our model is sales reps. That's how we go to market. We actually have no internal salespeople at all, and it's actually been quite a successful model doing it this way. So, um, I think manufacturers just look at the dollars and they go, oh, we can do that better, cheaper. Um, but I think if you have a large enough market size, I don't know how you could ever build those same level of relationships up with the customers, um, and sustain that. So for us, the rep models actually worked quite well. So
It's one of the few businesses where you can get fired for doing really well. And I have been
true.
fired. When you hit $2 million in sales with a brand, they start looking at the commissions they pay, as you said,
Yeah.
and, off you go.
Yeah, I think it can be very short-sighted, and it also becomes something more that the manufacturer actually, quite frankly, has to manage. It's maybe a little bit more difficult to manage a sales rep at times, but that the sales rep is going in store. They need to do what they need to do to keep the business moving, and they get paid for the dollars going through the door, so they're definitely incentivized to keep that moving. So um
Yeah, and another important role they play, it's almost like sound insulation on a wall between
right.
2 rooms. You buffer the relationship, you advocate for both sides,
Yep.
you solve problems. You gotta be a real good problem solver and communicator,
Yes.
and, that's a really important role that most manufacturers don't really get.
Yep. Yeah, they don't listen, right? A lot of them don't listen very well to what's really happening. We actually, to your point there, one of the things that we've done recently with our rep groups is we're very digital. We're definitely very technology forward. So we actually have our sales reps. We've asked them, and we have around somewhere between 20 and 25 reps right now. And we asked them to put in what we call signal. We actually call it our signal app. So we asked them just to post in based on their store visits that week, put in at least one signal in terms of what's happening in the marketplace, one specific thing with a dealer. And so this way we're getting a minimum of sort of 20, anywhere between 20 and 40 comments back directly from the field. And then we actually use AI at the end of the quarter to synthesize all of that data for us. And it really gives us insights to what's going on in our market that we, quite frankly, we probably weren't listening to very well. But it makes it very accessible, that information at this point. We started doing that about 3 months ago, and the sales folks actually love it. And so do, and I like it because now I get closer to the customer, actually, funny enough.
Is that part of this of a CRM?
So we build most things ourselves. We used to have a CRM that was like an off the shelf CRM, but we actually decided we built our own, and then we built it into that same application. A CRM
Yeah.
in and of itself is actually relatively easy to do. It's when they get into more the marketing side of the CRM is where they really have value. But a straightforward CRM is a pretty simple thing. So we just bolt it on ourselves. They all have it on their phones. It makes it very easy to do. So it's been great. A great application in your business would be, if you were able to somehow to get the installers, the contractors to be providing that type of data back to you, say during a job or after a job, that would be a wealth of information for you guys.
Yeah.
So
We recently, a couple of months ago, signed on with a company called HubSpot,
yeah,
and they have an AI-driven CRM. It's more than a CRM,
yes, it is.
uh, and we're learning more and more with it, and it's only gonna help us a lot more. But that change is always difficult, but absolutely necessary.
Yeah, I think in that case it's all about the inputs. So I'd be going after the contractors and going, give me the data, what's happening in the field. without you necessarily always having to go out to the field to get it, because we all know how time consuming and challenging that is to do for you guys in the showroom to really know what's going on in the field all the time. It's that's not easy.
No, it's not, but we also do a lot of presentations with the designers and architects and
Yep.
design build companies, and usually we ask for feedback, we ask questions, and, we get a pretty good idea what's going on there, but I'd love to see what you do. Sounds like a really fabulous,
Yeah.
simple way
It is simple.
to really to help control your future.
Yeah, if you're not leading it, then you're falling behind, right? So, and I would say that's probably one of the things that uh, moved us in that direction was I felt like we weren't maybe we weren't getting enough of the signals from the market quickly enough. And in talking to my sales team about it, it was like probably a little bit of both, where me as the manufacturer I wasn't listening hard enough, and they weren't talking loud enough. So,
Yeah,
so those two don't go well together. And so that, to me, that's actually how you create a better future for everybody, because it's about, you can't stand where you are today. You need to keep moving forward. So like we have over the next we just launched a new high-end line called Stonewood Elements, and that's coming out to market right now. And then, but over the next sort of 4 months, we have more product coming to market than we've ever launched in the history of the company. So we have 8 new quartz tops, we have 4 new colors, 5 new colors actually, of cabinetry coming. So there's a whole new platform of a vanity as well. So we have a lot going on. But if you're not doing that, that'd be like you having in your showroom going, "Oh yeah, we're working, we're carrying the exact same stuff, same model numbers, et cetera, et cetera." When customers come in, they want to see something new. They go, "What's the latest and greatest?" Right? Even if they don't buy it, they still want to see it.
absolutely. We're constantly changing our showroom.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I would imagine, like, and those are your good vendors, right? Your good vendors are coming out with new products whether it's every year, or every 6 months, whatever that. I guess that's a good question, is what's the cadence that you are seeing in terms of new product coming from your vendors? What would be
Well, we're
norm?
we're we're definitely seeing really talented, well-balanced designs from companies that had no idea what balance and proportion was like.
Oh, really?
Uh, for years, the Europeans had the edge up
Yep.
because they understood balance and proportion in plumbing, because plumbing in the United States was really designed for functional purposes.
Right.
And the Europeans started doing good-looking functional products, uh, and they had a leg up for many, many years. In the last, I wanna say 10 years, it's changed where you have these American, even overseas Asia
Yep.
companies coming out with better designs because 'cause they're mimicking and copying or plagiarizing the other designs, but
Right.
we're seeing new creative designs coming from factories here in the US, still
Yep.
in Europe. We're also seeing, we've seen the bathroom change from a functional washing room to
Yep.
something much more than that, where we're now starting to hear more and more about wellness,
Right.
and that's a big trend that we have to follow, and the understanding of wellness from one culture to the other is different.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that actually, in terms of in terms of the American consumer, how does that wellness factor sort of come through for you guys?
Well, their experiences of wellness have been at their clubs, where they
Yeah,
work out, exercise, play tennis, that sort of thing,
yeah, the
and
country club.
in that club was a steam room. So that started a long time ago.
Yeah.
In Europe, wellness is much more than that. It's using water to improve your body,
Hmm.
to heal your body, to balance your body. There's also the 5 therapies: heat therapy, light therapy, sound therapy, daylight therapy, and massage therapy.
Right.
There's also aromatherapy. So
Yeah.
there's really 6, but 5
Yeah.
'cause you understand that. So we're seeing more products that include those therapies. Matter of fact, we sell a Canadian tub called Bain Ultra, and they've been at the
Yeah.
forefront of wellness with the 5 therapies. And
Oh,
in the
that's
United
interesting.
States, the consumer thinks a spa is a place where you get your nails done. So a spa is much different in Europe. You know, the cold
Yes.
water
I mean,
plunge is a big theme today, and you're
yeah.
seeing people looking at cold water plunges and things like that.
Yeah. No,
But we also
absolutely.
have cold therapy Kneipp hoses and, which is a cold water hose you keep in your shower and it's only cold. Or you might
Oh,
even have
really?
that in your steam room or your dry sauna.
Right. That's interesting. I hadn't actually thought about it from that perspective, but that actually makes a ton of sense. I haven't heard those words either, but I mean, it resonates for me. I mean, I love sauna. I love, I don't have a, sauna and cold plunge in my home, but I go to one. And that's been an interesting experience, but yeah, I think, building those into your homes, that's definitely a key trend. I mean, we saw it at the Cadence show this year for sure. Lots of cold plunges. Um, but it is interesting about how do you actually build that into, say, like you said, like a master bathroom, or a primary bathroom. How do you actually build that in? Um, yeah. I mean, how do
Well,
you get
there's also a lot of misinformation going on out there.
Oh,
You
yeah?
know, these cold plunges where they go down to 35 degrees.
Yep.
Well, if you go into the European version of cold plunge, it's between 55 and 58 degrees. And you can accomplish that pretty easy without spending $10,000 on a device that requires a lot of energy
Yeah.
and a lot of maintenance.
Gotcha.
And a cold water Kneipp hose, and the name Kneipp comes from a about 180 years ago. A guy started curing himself of tuberculosis using cold water and diet. He
Oh.
ended up curing a lot of other people, and the people in town wanted to put him in jail because they thought he was a witch. And it's a true story. And so
Wow.
the judge had tuberculosis. He cured the judge. The judge let him off. And then Kneipp Institute still exists today. And it's a training ground for spa people. And there are experts. And it's more than just water, steam, it's
Oh,
diet,
interesting.
it's
Mm,
it's a lifestyle, you know.
yeah. Gotcha. And was this in
So
Europe or in the US?
in Europe. And we
Okay.
sell what's called a Kneipp hose, Kneipp. Dornbrock offers one, Jessi offers one, Vola, and I pretty sure Fantini.
Okay.
And you're seeing more and more of these crop up. We sell a couple a month,
Yep.
and we convince our customers to put them in. They love them.
Well, if you can do that as opposed to putting in a whole cold plunge, I mean, like you said, it's a whole lot cheaper. It's a lot more accessible, and timely, right? I mean, there's that whole side of it. I mean, having a cold plunge is, I mean, that's a whole thing. It's like having a hot tub. It's
Yeah,
you got to
next
maintain it.
time
You gotta,
next time you take a shower, bring in a glass of cold water and dump it on your leg.
yep.
See how that feels while the hot water's running. I actually took a
Oh,
shower
interesting.
in a hotel that's near Dornbrock in Germany, where they put in they call it the horizontal shower. And it's 6 spray bars on the ceiling. You got a low ceiling just above you. You lay down on this heated slab of stone with a little towel
Oh,
for your head. You can be face down or face up.
yep.
And the sprays come out on just your legs. Now I push the button. There's 3 buttons: wake up, go to sleep, and level your body. So
Hmm.
my hotel room was across from this crazy spa. And I went every night to go to sleep and every morning to wake up. So it would be like an 8-minute scenario designed by a spa guru. The water would fall on your legs. It's warm. It would get hotter and
Yeah.
hotter until you couldn't stand it. Then it dumped cold water on your back at the same
Oh,
time. And you could have as
wow.
much as 6 different temperatures of water happening at the same time. So what happens is when you have these varying temperatures, it confuses your brain, and you can stand hotter temperatures without scalding and colder temperatures than you normally would,
Hmm.
which disrupts your body, get things moving or slows things down, gets out the
Yeah.
toxins. And I experienced that for 3 days in a row, and I was like, if I had that my whole life, I'd live another 10 years.
Wow. Okay, you're educating me now. I've never heard of that one. That's a new one to me. I'm gonna have to do a little
They have a
investigation
seated
afterwards.
version, they have a stand-up version, and we sold them in showrooms.
Wow. Wow. There you go. Well, that's interesting. So, um, wow. So what would be your today? What would be your I guess most popular brands that you're selling through your showroom today?
Well, we're a Waterworks boutique partner, and,
Okay.
Waterworks has an American style, that's been heavily influenced by Europeans,
Yep.
and, the family still runs the business. About 6 years ago, they sold their company to Restoration Hardware to get investment money to grow, and boy,
Oh,
are they
okay.
growing.
Wow.
And they have come out with phenomenal high-end products, and they haven't gone after the low end like so many high-end companies do. They
Yeah.
focus entirely on luxury, and they've created a fashion brand, and it does very well for us. On the European
Gotcha.
side, we're seeing the Brits coming out with some really excellent things
Yeah.
from, from Samuel Heath, and, they're all 2 names in England. Parent and Rose, Samuel Heath, Check and Speak,
Right.
Catch Pole and Rye. It's
Right.
charming,
It is
and,
charming.
and we're seeing some American manufacturers really coming out with good product. From California faucets to
Right.
Artos, which is a lower price point.
Yep.
And, there's some very good brands coming out of the United States. And we're
Yeah, I
seeing
would say
Jessi is like the Italian fashion brand now. They've got a faucet launch they just launched called Caroline. And
okay.
it's a bamboo spout that's real bamboo. And
Oh,
it's the same bend shape as Jackie O's famous bamboo handled purse from the 60s.
oh
So
wow.
they're
That's
looking at, they're looking at their products as a fashion brand, and they've got
yeah, and
wallpaper now.
say that again about the wallpaper?
They have wallpaper now. They have home
Oh,
goods. Yeah,
gotcha. So they're
it's
expanding
getting
their
interesting.
categories.
Yeah. And if you go online, you can see they call them Casa Jessi. So in New York on Central Park in a penthouse, they have a showroom, also a place to put up people. They can stay. And
Yeah.
these are located strategically throughout the world.
That's an interesting way of doing it. So you get your whether it's your customers or your dealers or whatever to go and do that. I have seen that before, and I actually think that's quite an effective strategy, especially for the higher end brands for sure. That is interesting. That the I think the elevation of a brand, um, especially for U.S. companies, is truly the right way to go because there's so much in the marketplace that is just racing to the bottom, and that's I don't think anybody really wins when that happens. It You just get cheap product that falls apart, um, and it's just not good for the brand name. That's for sure. So we've always sort of stayed away from that. We're looking, actually, even ourselves, we are looking at a lower price point product, but it's not going to be, it's still got to be a product that's got to be able to hold our name. And if it won't hold the name, then you can't put the product out there. Um, so yeah, so that's interesting. Well, we shift gears a little bit and sort of go over to the topic of the I think the year has been tariffs, and just curious how, your vendors and everything else, how's that been affecting your business over the last 12 months? You've been able to deal with it, I guess, and specifically in that high end luxury brand. Does it even have much of an impact for you guys?
It has not had the same impact as it does for commodity products. People want what they want.
Yeah,
The worst part of it was the confusion about how much a tariff is, because
right.
there's all kinds of different tariffs for different materials,
Yeah,
whether it has metal, cloth, wood, whatever. And figuring that out was a real difficult situation. We do some importing, so we have a company that helps us with that.
yeah,
They make the shipping arrangements because we're picking up ex factory works,
right.
and manufacturers love it because we take care of all that stuff. So
Yep, for sure.
we have put our toe in the water, and now I think we're swimming. So we understand tariffs pretty well. We add them
Yep,
on. We charge them to the customer. They understand. I do have a warehouse filled with some products that were bought pre-tariff
yep.
for some larger jobs, and and now we got to charge storage fees because everything's gone up.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing, the government shutdown has affected us too.
And how's
Again,
that
like I
affected
said
you
before,
guys?
well, because you don't have enough customs officers to handle the volume going through FedEx or UPS or DHL,
All right.
and yeah,
Hmm.
uh, the airport in Frankfurt, Germany, has a U.S. Customs office there, where they clear customs before it gets on the plane, so it
Right.
can fly
Ah,
right to Memphis, Tennessee. Um,
yep.
so we're
Gotcha.
seeing longer lead times because of that, and people are calling to find out where their stuff is, and we're telling them, and they keep calling, and it turns into one of those landslides where you've got all these service tickets because it's being held up and you don't have answers.
Yeah. 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 No,
But
I can appreciate that.
the tariffs really, we got scared at first. Oh no, half our stuff's coming from Europe.
Yep.
And for the most part, the government hasn't figured out how to charge for a lot of these tariffs. So sometimes we never see any tariff.
Well, that's one way to get around it.
Well, I'm
That's
worried that a year from now we'll get a stack of bills.
well, that would be a problem for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't come back charging later when you've already sold the product at a lower price. So let's hope that doesn't happen. I doubt it will, but I guess you never know these days. Based on where you are at today, and obviously you've been very successful working with your wife, which is, I'm sure, has its own challenges. Uh, but I imagine it's just been great fun for you guys. Um, as you go into the future and you sort of say, like, what are your near term opportunities and challenges based on the market today, do you think?
I think the big ones are how well you understand and use AI, and what other technology you have for accounting, wh- customer relationship management, etc.
Yeah.
That you dive in and use the heck out of them. Just changing our website and adding certain things that the bots seek out when a search is done,
Yep.
understanding that, um, understanding your geography. So you can aim your arrow at the right place.
Right.
That's really important.
Yeah.
Keeping up with trends, we've always done that.
Yep.
knowing what's coming in the future is something, I've got eyes and ears all over the world. I talk to friends, I hear about trends, and typically we're the first to have something that's new and cool. Take, for instance, the shower dryer.
Yep.
We would have never heard about that if we had not gone to a show. We actually heard about it before they went to a show. The things like that you discover, and you discover by putting your ear to the rail, your nose
Yep.
to the ground, and don't stop moving.
Yep. That's fair. If you stop moving, you sink.
Right. And you got to have a passion for
Yeah.
what you love. And I'll show you exactly what that is. I'm in this boiler room. You can see all this stuff, this old basement, with these old steel doors.
Yep.
Uh, This is what motivates me. Just so cool, right?
And what are we looking
Think of
at
that.
there?
Those are water mains for the water in the building and the fire system.
Yep.
And they're
Okay.
big
Yeah.
shut off,
Right.
big mechanical valves. You can see them there. And,
Yeah.
like for instance, I took one of these and had it machined to fit on a Waterworks shower valve because it's my brother. He wants to turn this
Ah.
big wheel to turn on the shower. But I mean, the whole plumbing industry is so cool because of all that kind of, where the design comes from and the industrial designs.
Yeah.
And it's always been something that I was drawn to. And so, if you don't have a passion, get out, find out where your passion is.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Well, and I'd say that's probably a good place to end it. Find your passion and live within it, and enjoy every day while you're there doing that, and just keep moving forward because, like you said, if you don't swim, you sink, and we don't want to sink. So
Yeah,
there you go.
absolutely.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir. Appreciate your time today. It
Yeah,
was great
and you
getting
as
to know
well,
you
sir.
and your business, and hopefully
Okay.
I get my way to see your showroom in person one day.
Yeah, if you're ever in the neighborhood, come on by.